How is everyone doing? So far, I can't seem to get my Winamp to run. So, this is the state of the hard drive right now. But I'm managing to record on another hard drive. So, until I do the entire reformatting and such things, I'll be recording on a portable hard drive, getting things in a different method. And I always have my tablet. Anyhow, this is not the point of this video. Point of this video is a couple of things I've managed to just eh, either reconsider or now kind of use. So here's the thing. For a while, you guys know, I was always in this shitty mindset of trying to do things perfectly, trying to do it in one set, one method. And when it comes to art, that is not the thing to do. Not really. It's not going to help you. So the eventually I just started sketching out, doing a couple of, trying to get perspective going, trying to get everything to work correctly. And something that kind of came up after, I have a stubborn head when it comes to sketching, and I always want to try to do it on the go. Or meaning, I always want to try to do crazy ass perspective positions and such things. And of course, it's not that easy, isn't it, right? So, after trying a couple of times, I just, let's say I started, of course, using non-photo blue for whatever reason. I ditched it for a while, but I started using it and something kind of came up. So let me try and present this to you in a digital format. Trying to do an equivalent here. So after a while, I started using non-photo blue just for perspective and either character. So I had one part of it like this where I would just lay out perspective, and please do not take this as a perspective indicator. I still want to go back to the basic and relearn how to do a proper grid. So there we go. We got the non-photo blue grid, and then I took my vermilion pencil to just lay down a basic gesture. So let's see. Since I'm working on since I'm working on Eliza, I might as well just start doing the shape and setting up the foot. Maybe I'm a bit too far into it. Here's a tad bit of an advantage for digital. You can replace your figure and not having to erase, but again, you're free, you're loose, you're sketching loose. Just don't put yourself into a state where there's one way to do it. No, fuck that. There's multiple ways. So, perspective in there. I mean, the figure is laid in perspective, but not going too far, like those crazy ass experiments I was trying to do. Yet, again, I'm setting up the figure. I'm just loosely trying to set up what I have in my head for this figure, what kind of position I have in my head, and how it's going to work in perspective. Thank God I'm not going with the crazy ass hyper perspective type of shit I was trying to go for, but that is another discussion for another time. So, after going through this, there are a couple of things I didn't like about my pose or I wanted to push even further. And again, with the previous mentality I had, I was constantly just saying, okay, well, I'm going to try it again on another piece of paper, uh, or I'm going to just shift the paper or try to erase completely and blah, blah, blah. And of course, that was kind of a flaw because while, while doing this kind of sketching, maybe I'm going to tone down the orange vermilion is a bit lighter on paper. So here I can do, using that tool, that thingy. Of course, it's not the main basis for it, but that tool, just changing the color here and there. So there you go. I have the sketch, I have the breakdown, and there's already a couple of things I don't like. So instead of basically just trying to draw the same thing, or jumping onto another page, I basically just took my Scarlet Red, different shade of color, and then went over it, uh, and then tried to push the pose. A cool trick on paper, I use Scarlet Red. Digitally, something I can do is just add another layer and then push the bloody pose even further. So let's say I want to have more of a crazy ass stance, or more of an expressive stance. I can just straight away do it right on top and push it, you know? Now I kind of want to raise her arm just in case, or just to see where that's gonna go. Maybe throw it in perspective as well. Like small little things that a specific, having my huge flaw of having this procedural mind completely scrapped out of the basic logic in a sense. Because this is logic. I want to push a pose further, then I don't really need to put it on a different piece of paper unless I erase too much. But that's a whole different deal. Uh, I imagine using Canson paper, I can technically push or erase maybe 5, 6 times before the paper just doesn't want to work with me. The paper is used so much, but aside from that, if I start with a lighter tone, like vermilion, and then go into scarlet red, I can easily just go without erasing. And when I'll erase to lighten up the scarlet red, it's going to turn into somewhat of a vermilion type color. Close, it's going to become lighter. And then I can either add some more scarlet red or start going in with a light blue. All this to give myself more chances. Here, let's see, I'll send that layer below so that we have this. And guess what? Might as well go with light blue. Doing a bit of the erasement segment here, just to lighten it up. And then boom, I can go with light blue and push it even further. And at the same time, I get to explore the idea without giving myself this restraint of, oh, well, I'm not going to be able, I need to do it perfectly, or I need to do it this way. So all that is like just a lot of fun because I don't get restrained by this idiotic thought process. Well, idiotic or over perfectionist type of thought process that I was stuck at. Again, I spoke a bit about the education process that I had when it comes to my parents and the mentality that they had when it came to that. And of course, uh, when it comes to art, all of this trying to be a perfectionist type of thing, it's kind of horseshit. It limited me in my learning and application of such things, and I'm quite glad to have seen get good tips on this from psychiatrists and just analyzing personality wise. So, or analyzing my own personality to finally look at how some education methods are simply hindering me in the way I want to do things. So here I'm just having a lot of fun trying to push the pose even further. Maybe I want to extend the arm for it to go directly in front of me, in front of the viewer, so that I can have like this cool aspect. Maybe I kind of wanted to push the head back as well, so I might as well do that switch right here, right there. Seeing I didn't overly spend, a lot of time on the head. So at this point, when it comes traditionally, this has helped me a lot because I spend less time redoing, and redoing. And when I start using different colors on top of each other, that not necessarily match, okay? Because going from a vermilion tone to a scarlet red, there is a difference, and it's not blinding, meaning I'm not going from red to blue instantly. I'm not getting this weird tonal shift in my head where the next drawing or the drawing on top has to be something different, you know? It's not. It's basically going over the form. Maybe I'm gonna start erasing this. The another idea started popping in my head for the head, but you know, there's not this switch in my head where I need to do a different drawing because of a different color. Um, and again, this is not general. I don't want to generalize. To each their own. All right, to each their own mindset. But for me, this really helped a lot. Just trying this out and seeing that, okay, well, my brain, instead of saying, like I said, or try to reiterate, instead of going, this has to be a different drawing because of a different color, it goes into a mode where I am trying to improve this pose, or I'm trying to push it, the previous pose, even further. And of course, when I go to light blue, there is a point where maybe I want to finalize, or maybe I want to just bring the pose to a different set. So at this point, I can just have fun pushing the pose even further. Maybe I'm bring this arm even further. Maybe I want to bring throw the other arm in perspective, but lower. Like, let's see. And this is where the talking just ends, you know. I get to just try to feel the pose out. Maybe I didn't want the arm to raise up, so let's bring it back. And I'm really perplexed about this head. Maybe I want to do something like a head that's tilting down. But yeah, that's the basic gist of it. When it comes traditionally, you can use different pencil colors to evade erasing too much, and then keeping the pencil in a similar gamut. Like right now, I've purposely bought violet pencil because I still have purple pencils remaining. So I can start with violet, which is a lighter shade of purple, which is weird. Wait a second. It's not violet. My bad. Violet is purple. What is this? It's purple. Okay, well, Prismacolor. How do you work? So purple is a lighter shade of violet. So I bought purple on purpose to start my drawings and then move on with violet. I have light blue to then work into blue. And I'll keep non-photo blue to have that those perspective to lay the figure but not get distracted by the non-photo blue. And hell, you can always go from non-photo blue to light blue. It all depends on your eye and the way you perceive things. But the main purpose is giving yourself multiple chances, giving yourself chances to explore the idea and the pose that you want, and then not feel restrained, okay? Just to let loose, try as much as you can, try many things, and seeing what pleases you. And then you can start going further with the pose that you have. In digital, this is kind of great because at this point, I can put another layer, you know, match these, or maybe even get rid of this layer, put another layer on top, like there we go. Maybe I can send this. No, I can't send this down. So put another layer on top, and then start going with the intricate details and keep working in this procedural method, you know. Let's say procedural details. Let me start with some black, and then, okay, start going in like this and adding features, or even maybe rendering even further when it comes to the volume of the face. So give yourself chances, you know. It's not an absolute. Nothing's an absolute. You are creating reality with what you draw. Like right now, I'm noticing the head is not at the at a proportion that I want. So I'm gonna draw true, seeing how the head fits, and then this is gonna give me a hint about, okay, perspective, I need to change it to adjust. You're constantly adjusting and adapting. So, and just keep going. Give yourself chances. There is no absolute. So, let's see if I add the ball to it. The neck, I need to study. I need to restudy my heads just to have a better idea on how to properly connect it. More training, but not getting too obsessive with training. Remember. So, yeah, guys, give yourself chances, all right? It's this fun balance between studying and then applying, and then using all the tools that you've acquired during your studies to then go for broke. All right, you give yourself extra retries, extra continues, and you push your idea to its logical extent. All right. That's it for me now. I'm going to be possibly going to continue this pose or continue or get to the actual work I'm supposed to be done. Doing a couple of things for Dark Elite, and I can't show yet, so I will legitly just continue that in the background. But hey, thanks again, guys, for the support, the good comments, and I will try to bring more of these as time goes. That's about it. All right, guys. I'll see you later. Wow, and I just started this song while I was supposed to end everything. Later, guys.